we're going to go back to the files that have been provided to you, and you'll see a gross image and a cute image. I want you to open that gross image. There you go. Not pleasant. Not pleasant. And let's shrink that down. This type of image is harder to get over, to forget about, and to pull other information out of, because it's in your mind right away, and it really takes you to a strange place. But I want you to see the difference between the interpretation of this element of what I see in the stipple texture and what I see here. I'm going to do the same thing. We're just going to go right over top of this. Let's just pull this into line. Start another layer. We're going to call this sketches 2. And let's do this. It's so stark, it's hard to get past what's in here. There are other things going on here, but what are they? And you're all looking here. You're all just fixated on this spot, and you've got to try and get away from that and see what else is in this image that you can work with. Well, there's a square back there. There's a nice graphic line here as well. There's this image, there's these things, this line, this L shape, all on the outside of the image. But let's just do this. Right, what do you see now? Start mirroring this thing over. Let's grab that color. What do we start to see here? This is a harder one. This is something it's meant to be difficult. How do you get past what's there and develop it into something else? And one of the things that I do is I just start making marks. Just start making marks on the page. I probably black that out because I can't. The thing's freaking me out. But what is it about that is? I'm going to go back to this for a second. Just Control J that, and that is edit, transform, flip horizontally. Let's turn this down. There you go. Now I start to see something a little differently. Let's interpret that a little bit differently. Again, we're going to go back to sketches and paint here. I don't know. Do you see that? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? It's not so gross anymore, and there is something really interesting going on right there. And right there. And right. Let's turn this down so I don't destroy it. Right there, there. And you can see that. Now I've got some stuff. Did any of you see this when you started looking at this type of reference, this weird, creepy context? You've got forehead marks in here. You've got wrinkles suddenly, and I was seeing something like this in one portion of the foot, and I couldn't put my head or my finger on it, and who would want to touch that? Who would want to put their finger on that? But this is the kind of thing. It's the ability to see past what's there and make it into something else. Even this is very interesting. What's going on with this texture, that wave texture right there? Turning something creepy into something more cute. We could get away from this symmetry. I mean, now I'm starting to design. Now I've seen a shape or a form that I like, that simple, this sort of head crest type shape in there that I like. You begin to see places that you want to take it as far as a sculpture goes. Now I see sort of the edge of the neck here. I don't see shoulders here yet, but I see the pit of the neck. Actually, you know what? Let's take this, let's merge it down so that now we have that shape there. Let's take that little piece of interesting reference and let's erase some stuff that is causing some distractions. And now that you have that form, now that you see something in the piece, it's not a decision to, or pardon me, once you see something in that piece, the important thing is that you act on it right now. That you take the steps necessary to move forward. You can go through this step and see something completely different if you want to, but giving yourself the opportunity to go forward quickly right now is one of the things that is the difference between successful designers and people who are still struggling to be successful. Deciding that you've seen something, there's something in there, enough of it to get you to move forward. So I'm going to take this. We're going to go back to this lock. Let's take that and duplicate it. And let's get rid of this one. We don't need it. And actually, let's copy that. Control J, Control J. Turn a few of them off. Actually, we're going to leave the back one alone. Let's go to the second one. Filter. Artistic. Let's go to poster edges. Or pardon me. Artistic. Poster edges. And let's see what is exposed when we start to highlight certain lines. So this is what we're getting here when we start to expose certain lines. And that's interesting. Suddenly my focus changes when you see this many lines on the piece. These little pieces that would have been eyes or maybe even gills, something just went away. There's so much more going on here. You almost have a lip shape here. You almost have a cheek shape here. You got eyes that are we immediately focus on the symmetry created by doing that, and now you have a set of eyes. And it's the proportions that we recognize as human beings, the shoulders, the neck. The mouth should be roughly there, so that is what probably where we go to see. And I'm not interested, again, one of the things that I do is if I immediately see it, I don't go there. I want to try something different. So in this interpretation of the image, in this, in working to create our fundamental control of the way that we interpret images, get away from the first thing that pops up. Try to get away from that a little bit. So I'm going to let's adjust the edge thickness, the edge intensity, the posterization. There's some nice patterns that are being created. How far do we want to go? We want to work with just the pattern. It's not bad. Edge thickness. Okay, let's do that. So now we have this here. Let's take that and let's try some different filters over the top and see what pops out. Ooh, 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 who's... Ah. That works. There's some interesting stuff going on there. We're going to find one that works. We're going to find one that works. See, now these can become, these here almost become eyes. These pieces here almost become eyes. I don't know that I want to do that. Luminosity. And basically we're just flipping through the blending layers, with one on top of the other, having been adjusted to posterization. And just trying to find something else, expose a little bit more inside that gives us a sense of something new, something that pops, that changes our interpretation of the image that's in front of us. Let's keep it there for now. Let's go back up here and try this again. Let's go into a filter, artistic. Let's go to paint jobs is always a nice one, and you know let's try something a little bit different. Plastic wrap. That's interesting. Yeah, we want the smoothness up. There's something about that sort of crested feel. Let's do that. And let's drop this down. Darken, that's interesting. Normal. Right, and let's just move through this. See what else we can find. It changes our perception of the image that, oh, hello. There's something there. Something interesting going on there. So this is push the eyes out to the side of the head. This here feels a little different. Well, let's choose something real quickly that just gets us going. And sometimes it's just about closing your eyes and going, yeah, I'm going to stop now and try it. Let's stop right there. Let's go back up here to sketches, turn that on. Let's filter and blur our sketch out a little bit, just a tad, so that it is there, but it's not there. It's a little, push it into the background a little. All right, and as always, let's save. So yeah, we're gonna create a couple of extra layers here, so that we can turn them on and off and kind of build on the underpainting that we created earlier. Let's just continue on exploring a little more of the fundamentals of creative reasoning here, as well as some of the just illustrate a little bit more of the art of interpreting these images. So let's just create some more layers. We're just going to go down here to the layer button, and we're just going to create a few more. Let's rename those right away, so that we can just organize ourselves a little bit. Sketch, let's make that sketch 4. And one of the things I like to do is we'll grab these, we're going to duplicate those layers, and then we're going to, we're going to take these, the 3 we duplicated, we're going to merge those layers, and we're also going to take these through and Control G, and that's going to group those 3 so that they're separated. We can shut that off. Let's go, we can start playing now a little bit. Let's go back to Sketch 2. And with our underpainting here in Group 1 preserved, we can start playing around a little bit more. We'll continue to play on Sketch 2 and do some painting. And when we're happy with that, we can collapse it down, or merge it down, or we can shut it off. We continue another interpretation. I like to do that for a couple of reasons. One, if we work on this layer and shut it off, we can work on this layer, our ideas are going to be different. Then we can shut it off, work on this layer, our ideas are going to be different. And then we can start looking at blending these three attributes from the different sketches together and try and get some other interpretations going. And we can build exponentially on from one layer to the next, creating new ideas. Let's explore a little bit about some of the things we can do with this interesting image that's kind of developing. Let's go here to the background. Let's go up to Filter and Liquify, and bring the Liquify screen over here. Let's just go up to this finger painting, and we're going to start just playing around a little bit. Let's just grab an area here and move it around. I'm worried about just work on one side of the face for now. Just work on one side and try and find something interesting we can do. Let's just pull some more form out of here. And it's starting to, there's something pretty cool about this stuff. I kind of like that little squiddy cheek thing going on there. Let's think about the broad shapes and a little bit of posture here. I'm going to bring this chest piece down, pit of the neck down, kind of. Let's just work on one side. We're going to group that. Who would have thunk it? What can come from an ulcerative foot? Alright, let's just try that. We're going to go OK. And we're going to take it, and we're going to select that layer, go here, and we've got our auto select groups. Our transform controls actually give us the division here. Let's just drop a line in, and let's take this section and duplicate it. Just Control J will duplicate that, and then let's mirror it over to the other side. So how do we do that? We just go to Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal, and drop it here in place, and let's have a look at what we get. Not too bad. Interesting. Let's go to View, Clear Guide, so that disappears. It's interesting. And there's the difference. Just a little change. Let's just merge that down. We have a shape here. We can turn sketches off. We can start playing a little bit more. Let's remove sketch and just take another one. Yeah. And let's start playing some more over top. So, now we can begin to interpret the shape. And I'm paying close attention to this overall profile. And I want to bring some other elements here over the face, over the top. You can see this is really beginning to develop into something unusual. We just pick colors from the canvas, and you start reinterpreting this in an interesting way. Now you can cut into this profile as well. You pick some of the colors on the outside of the screen, and you can start to address elements of the silhouette that might be bothering you, or working. Need some patterns here. Something about this edge needs to be broken up. And we're just picking colors off the canvas that's already here and starting to develop it. Now, this to look a little bit like a high spot. Let's start breaking this up a little bit. Exploring what this is. And one of the things that I didn't do, there's a little bit of gravity issue here that I am concerned with. So we start noodling this image a little bit more. But you can see just how quickly, graphically it develops just with a few tools in Photoshop and a weird image that was giving. The image itself was difficult to get past, but I made some decisions really early and just pushed forward through it to find shapes inside and outside of that, despite the image itself, to move forward. There was something in an edge that helped us kind of go. Let's start thinking a little bit about what can come next. Weird's cool. Play around a little bit more and tidy up this profile. I don't want to play too much because I kind of like what's going on there. And again, don't get too worried about working both sides. Splitting this and flipping it is easy enough. It's about getting somewhere quickly, not necessarily noodling the elements perfectly. There's a little light bleed there. Yeah, something's up. We need a little something here. It's an interesting progression. I'm just going to, what I want to do is take a little of that into a weird place. That piece is interesting. Let's build on this a bit of a light difference here to kind of make a separation in both sides. There we go. something's, it's slowly developing into something that it wasn't before. Let's make this a hard point. Let's drop our opacity down a little bit. I'm just going to bring a bit of light into the cheek. Or what? Hell, I don't know what that is yet, but I'm thinking some sort of breathing tube or apparatus. This is too low. Bring a bit of that forward. Thinking about what is happening here.